Hi, YouTubers. Good day. This is Drew, and I got a little history lesson for you today. And it's a good subject because we're going to discuss who the hell is Friedrich von Hayek, and why the hell is this guy brainwashed my congressman? That's an important issue today because we are looking at the collapse of the whole global monetary system right now. And Congress has got to step in and act like Franklin Roosevelt. And our congressmen are brainwashed. They don't think they can do that. So, it's a subject we got to cover because we got to have people who think like Franklin Roosevelt. Alright, so it started. Who is Friedrich von Hayek? Well, we got to go back to the Habsburgs Empire. Yes. Alright, there's the Habsburg Empire at its height. Man, if you were a serf in that day, it sucked. So anyways, main guy we got to talk about is Karl Menger. Now, this guy was a retainer of the Habsburgs and the Wittelbachs up in Bavaria. There is one of them right there. Anyways, he was the mentor of the guy you all know, von Mises, who trained von Hayek. Now, Karl's big shtick, of course, was the British Empire, of course, because he defended the British Empire against Friedrich List's attack against British free trade. Now, he did this for the reason that Germany had to develop as an industrial economy, because he went to America. He was inspired by the American Revolution, our Constitution, but the issue is Hamilton and Matthew Carey's launching of industrialization, canal, and railroad building, which was the important thing about getting America to becoming independent and not being a slave to the British, even after we had declared independence and fought the war. So, that's Karl Menger. Next, we go off to Mr. Hayek. Alright, to start off with, basically his early career started off in New York for a year. Then he spent a year at 1923 at the Austrian Institute for Business Cycle Research. And get this, he said that because business cycles happen just by itself, well, we should encourage collapses to happen, mainly by encouraging austerity and credit shutoff in order to cause crashes. Isn't that crazy? Well, anyways, from there he goes to the London School of Economics, and it takes up the Tuch chair there. And there's okay, let's picture this right here. Here's the British Empire, which dominates most of the world. Remember, this is the height of the British Empire, where the sun never sets on the British Empire. So, that's the British Empire, where most of the human race right now is kept in a completely horrible state of existence. You know, mass killing of Indians, you name it, genocide. But it's during this time he writes this: "The road to serfdom." So I'll just quote that. "We shall not rebuild civilization on the large scale. It's no accident that on the whole there was more beauty and decency to be found in the life of the small peoples, and that among the large ones there was more happiness and content in proportion as they had avoided the deadly blight of centralization." So what he's saying, that feudalism is great. Feudalism is wonderful. Let's get rid of this yucky modern civilization. But mainly he's taking these ideas from this guy, Lord Bertrand Russell. What an evil son of a bitch. Now, when I talk about evil, I mean evil. This is the guy who promoted using bacteriological warfare and chemical warfare against dark-skinned races, saying that they breed too quickly. We gotta wipe them out. Now, if that's not evil, this guy organized the dropping of the atomic bomb on Japan for the issue of implementing world government. That's right. And plus, he had books talking that we had to have some sort of scientific dictatorship because we have to make the masses stupid and slave-like, but make them happy. As long as they're happy, they can be slaves. So, that's Mr. Russell. Now, next, of course, what he did is he organized the Montpelier Society. Now, this is famous because it's a secret society. They don't tell you who's in it or what they talk about. Okay, now, we do know that original members of the Montpelier Society were people like Count Max von Turnentaxis and Count Otto von Habsburg. Now, it's interesting that Max von Turnentaxis in 1980 conference praised the criminal, or let's call it the mafia economy. But anyways, what's interesting is that the members of the Montpelier Society also were members of Count Richard Khrushchev Caligari's Pan-European Union, and there's a picture of him right there. And he's an old Venetian oligarchical family, goes back 800 years, part of the Venetian takeover of England. So that's his family. And what's interesting that in his movement, which were people like Walter Lippmann, was this guy Hjalmar Schacht. He's on the right next to Hitler, and he was the the finance minister of the Nazi Party, put Hitler in power, and of course ran the concentration camp system, which worked people to death. And after Hjalmar Schacht was replaced with Walter Funk, also a member of the Pan-European Union. Interestingly, a supporter of that was Winston Churchill, Mr. Global Empire. But back to the Montpelier Society and their meetings, secret meetings. Thanks to John Chamberlain at the National Review, we know that in 1980, their conference was about the mafia economy, or the underground economy, which they love. 1981, they were in Chile praising Pinochet to the sky and his massive budget cuts, privatization of all the things, ending public schools. 1982, they had a wonderful conference about the Hong Kong model, which was, of course, a drug-based economy out of the Golden Triangle out of Burma. In 83, they promoted selling off all public land. 84, more praise for the black market economy. In 86, mostly just reviewing privatization policies being carried out. Alright, back to Mr. Hayek. Let's see, 1950, he goes to the University of Chicago. And in 1966, he writes this little interesting paper about this guy, Bernard de Mandeville, an Englishman who promoted the most degenerate culture possible. And he's famous for this, the Fable of the Bees. And I'll read you a part. Thus every part was full of vice, yet the whole mass of paradise. Flattered in peace and feared in wars, they were the esteem of fawners, and lavish of their wealth and lives the balance of all other hives. Such were the blessings of that state. Their crimes conspired to make 'em great, and virtue, who from politics had learned 1,000 cunning tricks, was, by their happy influence, made friends with vice, and ever since, the worst of all the multitude did something for the common good. Now, if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. But that's the British system for you. And finally, the kind of foundations that are promoting this stuff and brainwashing congressmen, like Heritage Foundation, founded by Mellon Scaife, the guy who gave you Clinton Gate, Ed Meese, oh boy, Jack Kemp. Let's see, Reason Foundation, Progress and Freedom Foundation, American Legislative Exchange Council, National Taxpayers Union, Cato Institute. It's all the same thing. No government, austerity, balanced budget, no investment in new technology. It's all the same thing. Privatization, drug legalization, so forth. But again, it's the same thing. If you believe these guys, hey, I get a bridge I want to sell you.